I have Wayne Burton with me today. He's a church music composer and artist. Wayne, thanks for joining me today.
Glad to be with you. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas as well to you too. So Wayne,
Thanks.
Before we get into things, especially for listeners that may not know as much about you or may have not heard of you yet, tell us a little bit about you and your background as, a song maker and all these kind of things.
Sure. Yeah, I've been writing music for a lot of years, church music for a lot of those years as well. And I live in Alberta, Canada, but I have lived in Utah for missionary service, for school. I have family there, so I'm back and forth to some of the different areas in the U.S. as well, quite often. And I've just been writing and producing and releasing music about faith and about our goals to be more like the Savior, about his life and mission for a lot of years. And so I've released albums on Spotify, Apple Music, that kind of thing, songs on YouTube. And I write a lot of youth songs as well. I've had some that have been used by the church on their website and in the annual church music contest, but also each year with the youth theme. When it's announced, I write a song inspired by that theme, and it gets used in a lot of different countries and a lot of different languages. So just keeps me hopping. It's a great thing to be involved in.
Yeah, definitely. That's great. And when you started making music, did you start making music for the church? Was it still about, church-related topics like the gospel and that kind of thing, or what did you start with?
Yeah, really, as far as my adult life goes, that's true. I started writing songs when I was a teenager, and so, the themes were a little different initially, but love songs and different things. But just before I started my missionary service at age 19, I wrote a song for my friend's missionary farewell, and that was kind of my first church song. And then on a mission, I just found opportunity on P days to write songs, and those were of course focused on the Savior as well. And it just kind of got me off to a great start with that kind of focus as a missionary. And then since that time, it's been the majority of my musical creation is in that genre. Just writing songs that can help lift people up, give them strength through hard times, and really point people towards the Savior.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that. And at this point, do you work alongside the church, like in a partnership, or do they just feature some of your music? How does that kind of work?
Yeah, so, the church does have a music department. They have certain staff. So most every other artist in the church and writer is not, in a formal relationship with the church for those purposes. Like myself, I write and release my own music. But as far as it goes with the church, I've had about 10 songs that have been chosen and utilized on, especially for youth, EFY albums, and those are official church albums. I've had songs that have been winners in the annual church song contest that the church has each year, and so they've taken those and have used them officially on their music website. I've got probably about a dozen songs that are on there. And so they've definitely been using my music and presenting it to the membership. It's in that kind of process where I write it, they find songs that they want to get their hands on and share, and they do that. And so it's not as much a commissioned or a direct business or artistic relationship, but we both have the same purpose, and often it serves the purposes of the church to use some of these songs in these kind of ways.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. And so, Wayne, you have a new song out. Tell us a little bit about it. And it just recently was released, correct?
Yeah. The new song just came out called Heaven on Earth. And it's a Christmas song, so listeners will probably hear it on the radio and streaming. And it's just, this time of year, it's inspiring Christmas time to just kind of think of everything with a a bit of shine on it, the positives and the hope and things that we have through Christ. It can also be a time where people, just in the reality of their lives, recognize that in the setting of that, there's still realities that people deal with. It's struggles that they go through. There's war, there's famine around the world. It's an imperfect world trying to be heavenly. And I wrote this song just kind of with that thought in mind, that we probably, all of us in our own minds, think, we want to see heaven on earth, and we want to see things become the way that Christ would want them to be. But the reality sometimes is so far from that, it just almost seems unreachable. But if at Christmas time especially, we think back to that time when Jesus was born, and how quite literally heaven came to earth. Jesus Christ came down and descended to live among us. And so even using that title, I tried to look at it from a few different angles. Jesus was heaven on earth. And then because of him, we look forward knowing that different parts of our lives, each day, each experience, we can have some of that heaven on earth made possible through him. And so it's a hopeful song that kind of looks at the reality, but looks at, because of Christ, who was heaven on earth, we can experience heaven on earth in our own lives in different ways. So hopefully it gives people hope and just kind of helps one more way to celebrate the Savior and what he's done for us.
That's incredible. Thank you for sharing that with us, Wayne. So, whether it be with this song or just with the music they make in general, because you've come out with a lot of songs, albums, things like that. What is maybe the hardest part of making all this music, and then the best part of it all?
Yeah, I think like anything, as you do more of it, you learn some skills, you get some experience, and that can take away some of the barriers and the hard part of it. But in my own personal songwriting, music has always been the easiest part, like the melodies, the chords, the harmonies. The lyrical part is something that for me then takes a little extra work to kind of work through and make things just right, to make it poetic and to kind of shine a light in a new way that people haven't thought of. And so it's not a barrier or a huge struggle, but that's the part that for me is a little more work before the song is done. And I love co-writing with people. A lot of I picked up some of those skills when I was writing country music and doing some of that work in Nashville as well. But in church music, I love to co-write as well. And for those who listen to my other music on Sundays and stuff like that, a lot of my music's been co-written with Tyler Castleton, who's produced and written so many songs that people have been lifted up by. And so that's been a rewarding part of the process, is working with Tyler and with others. In a lot of the music, I do involve other singers. Like, for instance, the youth song that I come out with each year, that the new one coming out from me in a couple of weeks is called Walk With Me. It's for the new youth theme. And I've got Blake Walker and Evie Mileni singing it. I like to use youth for those ones. And it's just rewarding to work with other artists. With those ones, I've got 9 other languages coming out in January as well. So I get to work with singers all over the world. And it has been rewarding that way, especially when I go and do firesides in those areas. And so I've gone to Europe and Asia and different places and done firesides where I've met up with those singers that I've worked with and those translators, and been able to share the music in their own countries and stuff too, which has been awesome. This new song I did with Lauren Gruwell as a harmony, and so she's got a prominent part in the song with her beautiful voice, and just helps to really make it a little bit angelic. So it's great. And overall, just love doing church music, because in the writing, in the releasing of the music, in the sharing it with others, the Spirit's there, and it's guiding, hopefully in every case, I kind of open up to that and let the Spirit guide. And it really amounts to people being lifted and their testimonies being strengthened, and that includes myself. So really feel blessed to be able to share the church music that I have.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us, Wayne. And if you're making an invitation out to people, especially, with Heaven on Earth being new, but just with, your music in general, but I mean, I guess since we're, in the Christmas season, specifically for this new song, Heaven on Earth, why should people turn this song on? Why should people be listening to this music that you're making?
I think we can always use a little more, we'll just say it, a little more heaven on earth. And especially this time of year, Light the World is such a theme. We need more Spirit and more Christ in our lives every day. And so if this just moves us a little further that way, where we can feel like, today's hard, but it's going to get better because of Jesus. And I hope people will do that. Will take advantage of that through the songs that I write, and with this new one, Heaven on Earth. Hopefully they'll share it with others. It's available on my website, wayneburton.com. That's where they can find it right now. And of course, playing on your station and others. And so just hopefully they'll share it and go out and make someone else's day brighter and bring them a little closer to heaven.
Awesome. Thank you. And you kind of already mentioned this, but just give us one more reminder for listeners out there where we can, listen to your music, this new song, and maybe where people can purchase it if they wanted to.
Sure. Yeah, for Heaven on Earth directly, go to wayneburton.com. We got MP3s there. Very shortly, there's going to be sheet music there as well. This is part of a 2-song release this Christmas. So I also have a duet with Tishna Campbell of White Christmas. So they can get both of the songs there, download the MP3s, get the sheet music. And then for my music in general, year-round, I've got 10 albums under my own name, and then 3 other General Conference themed albums. So lots of music people can stream through Spotify, Apple Music. We do music videos quite often, so check it out on YouTube as well. Lots of work goes into this. There's a huge spiritual reward. That's what I'm looking for. But I'd love just for more people to enjoy it, for sure.
That's great. And then Apple Music, Spotify, those kind of things as well, correct?
Any streaming platform's gonna carry my music in general. These new releases are directly available on the website, wayneburton.com.
Sweet. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Wayne. Anything else that you would add that I might have missed?
Chat. No. I just grateful for all the listeners. I appreciate the support. It goes a long way, and I'm going to keep bringing you more music even in the new year. Watch for the new one in January. Walk with Me, youth song for leaders and for youth.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Wayne, for being on the call with us today. I appreciate it.
You bet. Merry Christmas.